we go.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wolf. No, that's not what this is called. This is called the Chip Roasting Podcast. I'm Wally. That's Brandon. I mean, not Brennan. And also Brennan.
Yes.
But mostly
yes.
Brandon.
Yes. As my work colleagues call me.
This is going to be a packed show. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Special Valentine's Day episode here. I mean, it's not Valentine's Day for you guys listening to this, but we're recording on Valentine's Day.
We are, because
happy Valentine's Day.
I mean, that speaks enough volumes about what we're doing today. Anyway, we have lots of news, believe it or not. Last week it was less news and more like, here's a picture, here's a picture, here's a picture.
Lots of pictures. At least 3.
And then some moving pictures, also known as trailers.
Yes. Lots of pictures.
Lots of thoughts on the last 2 episodes of WandaVision.
Oh yeah.
So that's what this is going to be about. We don't have anything cool set up, just more talking about WandaVision.
Yep.
So
before
to get ahead of it,
3 hours. Yeah.
To get ahead of it, spoiler warning.
Oh yeah. Spoiler warning for everything.
For everything,
Yeah.
We're going to spoil the entire Earth. We're going to spoil the future.
If there's anything you're invested in that you don't want spoiled, just stop watching now. We're just going to spoil everything here.
Not including the stock market, because that's illegal. That's insider trading. The memes that have come out of the last 2 weeks. So we've missed so much. Anyway.
I watched a James Bond movie for the first time this past week, and the movie I watched actually was, I think it's called Casino Royale. And if I had seen that movie like a month ago, I would not have understood what was going on. But solely because of the GameStop thing, because the bad guy was just doing exactly what hedge funds were doing, and James Bond was Reddit basically. And I was like, all the pieces are coming together here.
And that is the name of our episode. James Bond was Reddit.
Yes.
I have 2 James Bond books back there. I just got books for everything,
cool. Yeah.
Actually, Casino Royale is my mom's favorite James Bond movie. She watches it all the time, so I am no stranger to that movie.
Hey, cool.
I think, by the way, they're pushed that back again, the new James Bond movie. I believe. Don't take my word for it. Look it up on the internet. But while we talk about news, let's get into it. The first bit of news we got last week, it was literally the day after we recorded the podcast, saying we had no news. Pictures from Thor: Love and Thunder were leaked. I don't know if you'd say leaked. They might have been put out there by Marvel, just trying to get people talking about something other than Spider-Man and WandaVision.
Most leaks are intentional now for the most part. There'll be the occasional blurry cell phone photo that somebody takes that's actually a leaked photo. But a lot of the leaks are just Marvel trying to stir up some hype, which works.
It works.
Because we're talking about it now.
Exactly. So basically what the picture was, just Thor had an 80s inspired not uniform, outfit on, and Star-Lord had a new coat. I think, no, maybe not. Maybe it might have been his old coat. Whatever. That's what we got from that. We got a picture of Nebula, as well as the Yondu's friend, who in the end credits was trying to control the arrow, which he seems like he has that thing on now.
Yeah, I've actually only seen that one photo. I haven't seen all of the other photos. I probably should have looked them up. I've had 2 weeks, but oh well. But yeah, I did see that photo of, I don't remember his name,
neither.
But the guy who got the arrow thing. And I was super excited because after I finished Guardians 2, just in theaters when it was released, I was like, they better keep him around as a character for Guardians 3. So I'm so glad that they actually he's going to stick around and have at least some kind of a role.
Right. Yeah. It always kind of sucks when they just throw out characters like they did with at first Darcy, and what was her name?
Yeah.
She's played by the woman who plays Princess or Queen Amidala, and I cannot remember her name. Whatever.
What movie was she in?
The first 2. She was the one who got the Infinity Stone in her.
Oh wait. That's the
Yeah, that's the same actress.
The same actress.
Wow. 2 weeks or a couple episodes ago, he didn't know the shits were blue, and now he realizes that the girl in Thor and in the first the episodes 1 through 3 are the same person.
Yeah.
Look at Brandon. Crazy. Learning something new every day. So those pictures were leaked, so that was cool. Clearly he's not seen 2 of them, so we'll talk more about that next week or 2 weeks from now when we have more more to talk about.
And that movie was originally slated, I think, to come out 2022, right? It was originally slated to come out.
Yeah,
I don't know if it still is or if it got pushed back because like everything got pushed back or like how they're adjusting the schedule, but
I don't know.
You know,
I should pull it up, but I'm not going to. So
yeah, next podcast episode.
Exactly. So the next piece of news is that Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther, announced that he will be the head creator, I guess, of a series based in Wakanda called The Kingdom of Wakanda.
I saw
coming
that.
to Disney Plus. I don't know when, but he did announce it. It was all over the place. I think that's really awesome because that's a world that I think that could be really cool when explored.
Oh yeah, very excited for that. It also seems like they're like shoving out a lot of shows because this is like the 87th Marvel MCU Disney Plus show that like they're putting out. All of them sound super interesting. I'm very excited to see all of them, but like they have not stopped with it. Feels like every month it's like, oh, here are like 3 new shows that are going to be on Disney Plus at some point.
Well,
it's I think cool.
With the uncertainty of like the movie industry and like movie theaters and stuff like that, I think they're just like, hey, you were supposed to get a movie. You could have a movie, but like here's a TV show too, in case we can't release that movie for the next 6 years.
Which honestly, maybe the smarter way to go because they'll be able to tell like smaller scale stories while being able to make a profit still. Because like everyone expects movies to be these like huge events, and that may have been kind of working against them. Like, because I know we're gonna talk about this, but one of the other shows that they've like talked about more is like the Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
Show, and that's a super great one to have as a show and not as a movie.
Right. Same with the Armor Wars.
Yeah.
So
I am excited to see this. I just wish that like, because like I've completely lost track of what shows are happening at what times.
Yeah.
So I wish that like they would kind of go into it a little bit slower, but like, hey, all this sounds good so far, as long as they don't overdo it too much with.
It's started to do that with Star Wars a little bit too, because we got all these shows dropped on the same day, and it's just like, all right, cool. So when is all this happening? Like we've no release dates for anything, but like there's show after show after show, and it's really exciting. But like it's gonna get confusing fast once everything starts coming.
Absolutely.
But so yeah, that'll be cool. I think Wakanda's a cool place to kind of, not research, but like dive into, as like a TV show. Maybe
get more information about, learn more about how things are there.
And like you said, you can kind of tell more of an elaborate story. It's almost like more like a comic book, as opposed to like these big movies where you have to kind of put like this event that span over like tons of comic books in like one movie, like Civil War. Whereas if you'd done Civil War as a show, you could have like really built it up a lot more, and then.
Ooh, yeah.
Which I think they should do if they do the Civil War 2 event, because there's 2 Civil War events in the comics. So
interesting.
Yeah. So the next piece is Tom Holland. Man, Tom Holland's been all over the news lately. He basically came out and said 2 big things about Spider-Man. One is that he claimed that Spider-Man 3 is the most ambitious standalone superhero movie ever. And then a week later, he came out and said Spider-Man 3 is not the Spider-Verse and he does not know what's going on. So he either lied the first time or the second time.
I mean, it's possible he was telling the truth both times, but I don't see how Spider-Man 3 in the MCU can be like a standalone movie. Because we've already got
it's a third.
Doctor Strange will be in it too, so immediately it's like it's not standalone.
Right.
But maybe it'll have enough of its own story to really be considered standalone, which would be super cool.
Right.
The whole thing with the Spider-Verse is like there have been so many leaks and rumors and like confirmations that it is a Spider-Verse movie or whatever. So for him to just deny it now, it's like, okay, something's happening.
Someone's not telling him something.
Yes. Either
which, honestly, is probably for the best. It's Tom Holland. We know what he's done in the past.
It's just like either everyone is crazy, or actually that's the only possibility. Everyone's crazy.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. Because that movie comes out in a short 9-10 months from now. So
something like that, yeah. I think I think he said there's 7. No, there's 7 weeks into shooting, I believe he said, and I think they're supposed to get back to it soon.
Sweet.
So yeah. So honestly, if it's not the Spider-Verse, if I'm being no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know if you talked about this, but like there's the rumor that Charlie Cox was spotted on set. I don't remember if we talked about this yet on the podcast.
We talked about that Charlie Cox is rumored to be part of it. But I did not hear that he had been seen on set. That's interesting.
Apparently, there's a claim that he's been spotted on set, like filming some stuff. So that got me excited there. I was like, please have Daredevil and Spider-Man 3. I don't care about any other characters. Just give it to Doctor Strange and the like. I just want to see Charlie Cox's Daredevil in there. Perfect.
Right. Well, that's what I was actually going to get into, because it's like I kind of hope it's not the Spider-Verse yet. Like maybe if like they like set it up to be the Spider-Verse, that'd be great. But you're right. I want to see Charlie Cox or even the Jennifer Walters who plays She-Hulk. I would prefer Charlie Cox, obviously, because like I love Daredevil, but like either one, just an introduction of another character, as well as just kind of focusing on Peter's struggle with everyone knowing who he is.
And like what my other kind of question or whatever with that is like, it's kind of been told or whatever to us that WandaVision, Spider-Man 3, and Doctor Strange are supposed to form a like loose trilogy of like the multiverse, like introducing it. But so far, I don't think WandaVision has really done anything with the multiverse per se.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if like Spider-Man's supposed to take like the next step into getting into the multiverse, allegedly, like it might just boil down to like a post-credit scene or whatever confirmation of the multiverse. Because if we don't get anything with the multiverse in WandaVision, then there's nothing that's gonna like start off with Spider-Man and the multiverse.
Right. I mean, she could like we'll get to this, how she pulled in Quicksilver from the Fox universe. I mean, she could do something similar with Tobey Maguire or with Andrew Garfield, pulling them in, but we'll see how all that comes in.
Spoiler alert.
We already did that. We did the spoiler alert.
Yeah, but
we did the spoiler alert already.
Yes, it was cool to see
we'll get to that.
Yes, of course.
But so Tom Holland's just throwing everything he can at the wall, trying to throw everyone off, which maybe that's his whole point. Who knows?
Yeah, he's just trying to make up for the past 6-7 years or whatever of him spoiling everything. He's trying to just unspoil everything by just lying.
Exactly.
We'll see if he's telling the truth or not.
Yeah. So next piece of information, we finally got a release date for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think
March 19th.
2 weeks in between.
I think it's only. No, it is.
It is 2 weeks. Yeah. Because next week is the February 19th, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
When the next WandaVision will be, and then it'll be a month
26th.
From then.
And then it'll be
4th or 5th or something. Wait, what was
3rd? It'll be the 3rd.
Yeah. No. 19th, 12th, 5th.
The 5th.
It'll be the 5th. So yeah, we're smart.
I promise you, I can do math. Yeah.
We're smart. We trust us. We are.
Yeah. The 5th. So March 5th was when WandaVision will end, and then
we'll have
it'll skip 1 week.
We'll have the 12th off, and then the Falcon and Winter Soldier will start on the 19th.
Which, honestly, probably what they'll do on like the 12th is like the Marvel Legends thing that like they did with Wanda and Vision. They'll probably do for Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
right?
And perhaps Peggy Carter, because I saw from a trailer that she is in Falcon and not Peggy Carter.
Agent 13. Yeah, that I don't remember what her actual name is, but she goes by Agent 13. That's her alias, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, not Peggy Carter.
She's related to. She is
Peggy Carter. The niece of Peggy Carter. Yeah.
Yes, Peggy Carter will be coming back to life as an old woman to fight in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. No, absolutely. But the trailer dropped as well.
Zombie MCU thing,
which we will be getting in What If. The What If series. Oh, Brennan, I can't hear you.
Oh,
there we are. You're back. Okay, that was weird. Anyway.
I've returned.
But Anyway,
I totally forgot about that. Like the what if thing. I'm very excited for. I totally forgot that they were doing like the zombie arc in there, but that'll be cool to see.
Yeah. So, and then the trailer dropped. I thought it was a really cool trailer. It got me really hyped for this. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a lot more MCU than I think the first couple episodes of WandaVision. Like now you're starting to feel it as MCU, but like even still, it's not really like all that MCU. But whereas the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it's gonna be action packed, lots of funny back and forth between Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah. I'm very excited for it too. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, it'll be very cool because like with WandaVision, getting to spend like half an hour, whatever, each week with these characters, getting to know them more really made me appreciate their characters in like the MCU movies as a whole. So it'd be very neat to get to see that done with Falcon and the Winter Soldier too. Some real character building there.
I think this happened before it came out, but there's a lot of like kind of buzz around Age of Ultron, and how people like have gone back and rewatched and like, all right, that's actually not as bad as we thought it was.
Yeah, and
I actually liked Age of Ultron the first time.
Yeah, see, I've seen a lot of people talking about it. I've seen a lot of people saying that, like they actually went back and rewatched it and do not like Age of Ultron.
Oh, really? Okay.
So yeah, and it's like I'm kind of scared to go back and rewatch it because like I watched it and I thought it was like a really good movie at first.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing a lot of complaints and like look at them. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that, and I actually wasn't fond of that either. So I don't know how it holds up because like I know like some of the MCU movies I'll watch once, like okay, it was a great movie, I liked it. And I'll go back and watch it, and I'll be like, okay, actually, now watching it not with like
Ant-Man,
everything coming new. The first one.
I like. I mean, I still like them both, but like the first one's not as good as it was the first time.
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, I think I still like that one the second time through. Maybe.
Now you're having second thoughts about it.
There's so many MCU movies. I keep getting them like mixed up all the time.
Doctor Strange is a movie. It gets better every time I watch it. I love that movie.
Cool.
I love Doctor Strange. Anyway.
Yeah,
we're getting off
Doctor
track.
Strange was one with Doctor Strange. My biggest complaint was like Dormammu. I wish they incorporated him more in throughout like the entire thing, and also like the evil sorcerers was a weird choice, but yeah.
Well, technically he's still there. They could still use him.
Yes,
it's not like he got killed like some of the other villains have killed.
Yes.
But anyway,
I promise you, like with what Marvel's doing with all their TV shows, at some point we'll get like an adventure between Doctor Strange and like Dormammu. They'll like team up or whatever. It'll be like they'll get like 6 episodes.
Anyway,
but very cool. Oh, Age of Ultron, I guess I was just mentioning quickly. Yeah, so like there's some people who rewatching and realizing that like they like it more, others realizing that like they don't.
Right. I'll probably rewatch it after WandaVision's done.
Yeah.
See what I think about it.
Probably.
So next piece of news, Illuminati, who is a website, obviously.
Okay. Not
they broke.
That's a website.
Obviously, Illuminati. They broke that Kristen Bale. Like this was a couple months ago. They broke that Kristen Bale was going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder. That ended up being correct. They have reported that Sony has extended an offer to Keanu Reeves to play Kraven the Hunter in a solo film. But he has that's just what it is. I mean, they've like, hey, you can play Kraven the Hunter if you want to.
No word on whether he's accepted or not.
No, there's nothing from that. The only issue I think that has been brought up is that he's worked really closely with Marvel for a long time, trying to get a role that fits him. So going over there and playing a character at Sony wouldn't kill his chances, but it would be kind of cause like a continuity weirdness, I guess.
Yeah, but situation. Like I don't know. I feel like Marvel's already so big, and like they're trying to cast like a lot of people that I think like at some point continuity. Because I mean, for Jessica Jones, the actor who played who played Kilgrave in Jessica Jones, I've like heard that Marvel wants to use him at some point, but like not to play
Kilgrave,
Kilgrave, to play play someone else.
Well,
So I mean,
they've
it is
basically
possible to see like an actor play multiple roles in like the MCU quotation marks because just all the Marvel stuff.
yeah, because those are technically in the MCU, all the Netflix shows as well as the ABC shows and the Freeform shows. But
Yeah,
like they've like kind of now they've gone back and like yeah maybe not. They can easily go back and retcon them if they wanted to. They
easily
could
with like
also
the
go back.
multiverse. You can
Or yeah,
include
they
them.
could
Be
do
like,
that.
yeah.
Or they can go back and be like, hey, here's season 4 of Daredevil.
I hope so. I hope so. That would be so cool.
How funny would it be if it went
really
from a
like
Netflix
Daredevil.
original to a Hulu original? That'd be really funny.
Yes. It'd be really funny, especially if like the series just moves over to Hulu, because then it's like you just watch a Hulu and open up with like the little like
Netflix,
like Netflix and
that'd be really funny. But yeah, so I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I think he'd do pretty good as Kraven the Hunter. I mean, we've seen him hunt down people before in previous movies that I've never watched, but apparently people say they're good.
I actually haven't seen, I think, anything with Keanu Reeves. I've heard he's great, but I just for whatever reason I've just never, because like I don't intentionally seek out a lot of movies to watch. I'll just someone puts something on, I'll watch it. Never seen anything with Keanu Reeves. So
John Wick is the only thing like I know he's real big for. That and Bill and Ted, I think.
Yes.
Which are on the completely different ends of the spectrum, which shows his range. But yeah, apparently the John Wick movies are good. Apparently it's just about a guy who his dog got taken and he went on a killing spree to find it. That's all I know about John Wick.
Interesting.
But so I wouldn't be mad at that, but let's see. Let's shift into DC and then we'll shift into Star Wars, because there's two pieces of Star Wars news. One of them I literally say we will not discuss, and then we'll move on to the next one. But so yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
That is, yeah.
So there's pictures surfaced I think about a week ago of Jared Leto's Joker, as well as a new Justice League trailer came out today.
Yep.
So we're not going to talk much about the picture because his Joker was also in the trailer.
Yes.
What do you think about the trailer? Just quick thoughts. Yeah.
Cool. This is a very quick thought. It was meh.
I'm with you. It did not do anything for the confidence booster.
Yeah,
it just looked like a longer, drawn out other version of it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. I'm not as invested in like there are a lot of people who are like, oh, we want like the Snyder cut, give it to us, it's gonna be so good. I'm like, it's gonna be the same movie just with like
2 extra
different
hours
scenes. Yeah.
Of scenes
throughout. So
my question is, where does the Joker fit in?
I was like, it doesn't necessarily look bad, but like the original Justice League trailer didn't really look bad either. So like it doesn't really like do anything to boost my confidence. Everything's kind of like the same. I was like, at least they have something here. It seems like they have some good scenes kind of crammed in.
Yes, something.
That's kind of it's like it's hard to tell with the trailer because again, like the original Justice League trailer looked totally fine, and then the movie was just bad.
I have yet to see it. I was thought about watching it soon. My biggest problem with this movie is that where the hell am I gonna get 4 hours to watch this?
Yeah,
like 4 hours. That's a long fucking movie.
What may have been pretty interesting is like if they just split it up into like a TV series or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's like a series on HBO Max, just like 8 episodes, of like a half hour long.
Yeah, so you talked
like
about
all
doing
at
that
once or whatever.
Oh yeah, they talked about doing that.
Oh,
which for some reason, binge watching 4 hours is a lot easier. Like a TV show is a lot easier than sitting through a movie. I don't know why, but it is.
Because they be like breaking points. Like it's like, oh, you can stop here.
That's true. Yeah.
If you want to, so it feels more manageable and just knowing you're gonna sit down and watch something for like 4 hours, knowing you're gonna have the option to like break is, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a long movie. I don't know. I have just as many. I don't feel confident about this movie. I think a lot of people are overhyping it.
Yeah. I remember when like Avengers Endgame was first coming out, they were talking about like how long it was going to be, and they were like, oh yeah, like Avengers Endgame could be 4 hours long. A lot of people were like, oh, that's totally fine. It's like I will sit there for like 18 hours if you make an if you make an 18-hour movie, a lot of people were like very excited about it because it was like the conclusion of like a big saga, and like that kind of makes sense. But like Justice League, besides the people who are like super invested in like the Snyder Cut, I don't think anyone's really that invested in like in Justice League.
There's nothing. There's not as much build up to it. There were 22 movies before Endgame. There's been like what 7? Like Maybe. Come on.
There was Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad.
4.
Was it only
4 movies?
Because there's Aquaman, but Aquaman came out after, right?
Yeah, Aquaman came out after, and then also Shazam, but Shazam had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, there was
4 movies. There were 4 build up. Like you can't get invested like you did with the.
No.
And it took like a long time. And those movies, Wonder Woman was good.
Yeah.
The others were there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just do not have the confidence. And again, where does the Joker fit in any of this? I thought they were fighting Steppenwolf.
Yeah, but like I saw something about how they are including the Joker now, apparently just like super early on in like the movie. Like it's gonna be like one of the opening scenes is gonna be Batman and the Joker. It doesn't really add any more context to the central story, I don't think, but so just kind of show the Joker. But
they Jared Leto was like, "Hey, am I gonna be in this movie?" And they're like, "Why not?"
No, but apparently like they asked Jared Leto like specifically, like they sought him out to record scenes. He was caught off guard. He was not expecting it.
It's like, oh, sure.
So, and he was probably like, why?
Exactly. Like, did you not see Suicide Squad? He's like, did you not see Suicide Squad? Like, I was not needed in that movie.
Yeah. So. But yeah, anyway. But I do like how the Joker looks now.
Yes, he
Based
actually
on the short little scene that I saw in the trailer. I didn't see the picture, I just saw the trailer. But like he actually looks more like what you would think of as the Joker.
Yeah, he's not
trailer than he did.
His tattoos disappeared.
Yeah.
Like his face tattoos disappeared and all that. He looked more like a pimp than he did a Joker, an insane man. So that I was glad about.
So like that gives me a little bit of hope.
For the short time he's in the movie.
Yeah. I will watch the heck out of like the first like 3 minutes of Justice League and then turn it off. That ends up like, okay, that was a great movie.
Exactly. There we go.
Stop it. Close the app.
I think another thing with Endgame, if people were saying that they were talking about they'd sit in the movie theater for 8 hours, it's because it's a movie theater. It's a lot harder to find time when you're at home.
This is also true.
It's also being released in the theaters, but again, it's COVID. I mean, Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Yeah.
The pandemic and like.
Yeah.
No one's
Mark Hamill's
do
just
that.
everywhere. Yeah. No one's wanting to go out with like Mark Hamill.
Yeah. He's out there with the space cows drinking the milk.
Yes. Yeah.
He's everywhere outside.
Also, there's also Lord of the Rings, the trilogy coming out in like IMAX for like a couple of days pretty soon, but like only in theaters. And everyone's like, why did you choose now? The only possible reason I can think of is that like the movie theater companies contacted them and was like, we will pay you to like release this year. Please, and that because like I cannot imagine Lord of the Rings seeking movie theaters out being like, this is where we need to go in right now. Give us this chance.
Right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's do a quick. So this is Star Wars news now. This is gonna be a quick one. I'm literally gonna say it, and then I'm gonna say the next headline. Gina Carano got fired from, or it's not. She didn't get fired. She's not coming back to Star Wars for some anti-Semitic post on Instagram. Anyway, so this next news here. On February 11th, Ray Park Jr., the guy who plays Darth Maul in all the movies, posted a picture of the Maul cap on a makeup desk with his with the caption said Tatooine, and anyone says the location said Tatooine. The caption said, "Is anyone up for a trip to Dathomir?" I was like, are we getting him in the Kenobi series?
It has to be, because like I've literally been thinking this this whole time. As soon as the Kenobi series was announced, I was like, please have Darth Maul in it. Please have Darth Maul.
At the very least in flashbacks, because I feel like it's the only reason they're bringing in Hayden Christensen too, for flashbacks to like the Clone Wars era. So maybe we'll get something there.
Possibly.
So I'm very excited for that. Like I saw that picture on, I think I saw it on TikTok, and I went over to Instagram almost immediately, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I would be so excited to have him because like we had him like with like the live action stuff. We've had him in episode 1. And Solo, a Star Wars story, and that's been it.
Well, okay, I guess he could be in Cassian Andor, the Andor show, which is no, that's a lead up to Rogue One, but still, I mean that happens around the same time.
Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, I guess
that could happen.
I could kind of see that.
Because they're also filming. They're filming right now too.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Either way, I mean, he could be in both. I mean, for all we know. I mean,
I'm very excited to see him in there because he's had a very big part in both Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Star Wars: Rebels, which I have now watched a lot of. I'm on like season 3 right now, and like it's going really well. I'm like, I actually think the last episode I saw was where they left Sabine on Mandalore. Okay, she came back and there was the whole fight between whatever. I think that was the last episode I saw.
Fights in that show are awesome, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you've seen Thrawn now though, right?
Yes.
How great is Thrawn?
He is blue.
He's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
I actually loved because it's like finally there's a character because it's just like it's kind of not dull, but it kind of like loses like a lot of the stakes when it's like the rebels can just make horrible decisions and like still when they can still get away with things. It's like, oh, stormtrooper stupid, and that's actually like a smart guy who's like long-term planning, able to reason things out, able to spring these traps.
Yeah, and just incredible strategist.
It increases the stakes a whole lot, and it really makes me more invested in like, oh, how are they going to get out of this? Like, is it working for them? Is it not? Like, what's happening?
Right. It's a great. He's great. I love Thrawn. Yeah. He's my favorite non-Force user character.
Cool.
So yeah. But yeah. So that's all the news. Now I think we're gonna move on to WandaVision.
Nice.
Episode 5.
Sorry. Sorry. One last thing with like Darth Maul. That was what got.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like Darth Maul has had a huge role in like the Clone Wars and like Rebels, but those are all like, like the shows are great, but they're all kind of like animated shows aimed primarily towards like a younger demographic. I know like a lot of the older Star Wars fans may not have invested as much time into these shows, being like how casual or active of like of fans they are. Like more casual fans may not have seen the shows. You see like the Darth Maul cameo in like Solo. If all you've seen before is episode 1, you're like, wait, what is that Darth Maul?
Yeah, that's true.
What's going on?
True.
So hopefully having like his presence, if it is more than just like one flashback or whatever, there can be more of like a live action explanation for why he's back, which I think would be cool, and it'd also be very cool to see actually, it's because like it's great seeing Darth Maul in the animated shows, but like seeing him like, like an actual person in like in makeup doing like flips or whatever on screen.
Right.
It'd be very cool to see it as well and like be able to fit that in with the animated stuff and like because like much like how the Clone Wars, it was like there's live action stuff going around the Clone Wars. You see like in the series finale how it was like episode 3, the exact whatever happening at the same time as episode 3, but you saw it in animated. In the animated and live action, you could put right side by side and like see them how they work. Together.
I've done that. Oh yeah,
okay.
It's somehow sadder.
But it would be very cool to be able to do that with the Darth Maul stuff. If they do live action of like the Clone Wars stuff, being able to watch that side by side and saying like, hey, this does all fit together. It's like one cohesive story. That would be super cool.
Right, especially with just putting it with the Kenobi show and or the Andor show. I mean. And then again, it gives some context, like you said, because like a lot of people who just like watch the live action stuff, like they saw Maul and Solo, and it's like, what the? He's dead.
Yeah.
How is he alive with legs?
Exactly.
But like when you watch Clone Wars, I mean, you obviously see he's kept himself alive purely based on his hatred for Kenobi, and that he had a spider. He was part spider at one point.
Yeah, that was super creepy. Like those were great episodes. That was
truly.
Seeing this crazy guy with like the Force, like forming these spider legs around him, crazy.
But last thing about Maul before we move on to WandaVision. Were you surprised when he showed up in Rebels?
No, because so actually the very first glimpse I ever had in the Rebels, this was like years ago. I turned on the TV and it happened to be during the premiere of the season 2 finale or whatever, where Darth Maul makes his appearance. So I turned on and I was like, oh, hey.
That's Darth Maul.
Yeah, that's Darth Maul. So I was like, oh, he must be in the show. And I kind of got my interest, up in the series there. But like, I never actually watched it until like
2 weeks ago or whatever.
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago when you when I was like, I guess now, like, give in.
And that fight in that last episode with Vader and Ahsoka was just heavy emotionally. Like there was so much riding on that fight.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
Because there was like the whole thing with like, so one of the things that I hate in TV shows and stuff is when characters have information and then don't share that information, and then it just like it's like when someone has this like big like world altering revelations that they just like don't share, and it's like it'd be so easy to share it, and then like stuff whatever. But like when like Ahsoka is talking about Darth Vader and also talking about like her master Anakin Skywalker, it's like, just say they're the same people, and then we can like tell people this.
Right.
Like I understand why you would not want to, but like this is the identity of the super big evil dude. This could be like useful. Please share it, please. And then she never did. I was like, but yeah, it's super cool. One of my favorite characters in this show is actually what's his name? I'm not gonna be able to remember his name. The droid that Chopper. Rescued. No, not Chopper.
Oh, you like that character?
Yes,
the weird
droid.
Bug. Yeah, the weird bug-looking droid.
Yes.
Oh god, I hate him so much.
The episode where like Chopper was wherever, and then like they started working together, I was like, please have him being a recurring character. Please have him being a recurring character. And then he wasn't for so long, and then they brought him back, and like for like 6 out of the last like 8 episodes I've seen, he's been in there, and I'm like, yes. He's just so like he's just so obnoxious.
He is obnoxious.
And I love him so much. I love him. I love his and Chopper's whole dynamic where they just go back and forth. Like
I love Chopper so much.
Yeah, like
Chopper's
his character has like made me like Chopper so much more now. Without his character, I probably like would not like Chopper as much. But I actually like Chopper now, in a large part to like his character and like their interaction.
Chopper's a war criminal. But yeah, that Rebels is so much better than a lot of people give it credit for. It's such a great show.
Yeah, it was kind of weird at first when these characters weren't as established. Whatever, I was trying to kind of feel for them, and it's like I'm not really as invested. And it almost kind of felt repetitive at times, seeing like the same cast over and over and over. Because like I'm used to the Clone Wars where it changes pretty frequently. But like as they added new characters and new stories, like this droid here, for example, just like being able to like to go back and forth between all these stories, especially when Ezra really kind of dove into his Jedi training a lot more. That's what did it. It was like, okay, this is cool. I understand these characters. I relate to these characters now. Continue.
What did you think of this? Okay, we will get to WandaVision, I promise.
Yeah.
What did you think of my favorite lightsaber of anyone's is Ezra's first lightsaber, because it's just so cool. What did you think of Ezra's blaster lightsaber?
Yes, that was super neat. As soon as he showed it for the first time, it like wasn't revealed until like the next episode. I think that actually was a blaster lightsaber. But as soon as he revealed it, I was like, this is going to be a gun and a lightsaber. I was like, it just has to be. And when he used it, I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a staple gun, but it's so cool. I loved it.
It was it was a very neat idea. They've they've done a lot of cool stuff with like different kinds of lightsabers and all that. There's one I think that they were actually in.
We should see the High Republic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They got some cool lightsabers.
There was one where like they were in. It was like the episode where they found Darth Maul. It was like the whole like battlefield where like all the Jedi whatever were, and like Ezra picked up a lightsaber at one point and he like lit it, and it was like the style of Darth Maul's lightsaber.
Yeah.
Where like it came out the sides and it was like, okay, it's just kind of cool to see other elements of Star Wars.
And the helicopter saber.
Yes, there's also that. That was so absurd. Like it made no sense. I love that. I like laughed, I think, out loud when I saw that.
The helicopter sabers are the worst.
So funny. I almost forgot about that. That was the only time it was used, I think, in like this series. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so. But it's just bad. It's bad.
It was so funny. They kept using it too. It was so funny. I was like, just thinking about it now. I'm imagining like a character like General Grievous or someone with like how you'd spin his arms and lightsabers would go just like above his head and just like takes off. Imagine how overpowered that would have been. In episode 3, if when Kenobi was fighting him, he started spinning lightsabers above his head and just took off. It's like he could rotate his arms, so he could just spin them like that.
Well, and what if he did that and then had the helicopter sabers? He's unstoppable.
Twice as fast.
He's spinning lightsabers. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so let's get to WandaVision now.
They wouldn't spin at all because he'd be spinning the opposite way and they'd be spinning the other way. But yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that kind of wraps.
Yeah, that wraps up the quick Star Wars talk.
Star Wars Rebels is good, so I'll probably have it. Yeah, I'll probably have it finished. I'll probably have finished binging the whole series. That's what I was trying to say. By next podcast episode, just thinking about how it ends.
Talk about it.
I kind of already know how it ends because of the whole thing with how it ties in with the Mandalorian. We like talked about it briefly, but I'm excited to see it all play out.
It ends the same way as the Ugly Barnacle. Everyone died.
Nice.
No, I'm kidding.
I cannot wait to see all these characters I've come to know and love just get brutally murdered. Oh, that's the other thing.
Just like in Rogue One.
One thing that I also liked is like how things happen and the effects of those things stick around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like Ezra took a lightsaber to the face and got these little scars and like they're still there. Kanan was like sliced at in like the eyes and Kanan lost his sight, which kind of stuck around. They kind of really quickly, like first episode of season 3 were like, oh yeah, you can see in another way now. And I was like, they could wait a couple episodes to do that. They could have like you could have shown him blind a little bit more before they're like, oh, it's fixed now, kind of. But it's still cool. It's like how things change.
But the only thing we do not know, the biggest mystery of Star Wars, is how Anakin got the scar on his eye. It happened between episode 2 and the Clone Wars. They don't explain it in the Clone Wars.
Huh.
Where did he get it?
Interesting. Yes.
Anyway, so we ready to talk about WandaVision right now?
We are.
Ready? All right.
We are.
So that ends the news portion as well as the Brennan review of
Star
Rebels.
Wars and James Bond. Yes.
So let's get into it. WandaVision episodes 5 and 6 has happened since we last were on the podcast.
Yep. We're 2/3 of the way done with. Well,
we are
kind of, because apparently these next couple episodes are going to be an hour long instead of like a half hour. So
I did the math. They'll be at least 50 minutes long because they said that they're going to be each show is going to be 6 hours long. So.
I wonder how exact that 6 hours is. Like if it'll be like exactly 6 hours down to like.
It's to the millisecond.
Yeah.
It's to the millisecond.
Yes.
Anyway, so episode 5 takes place in the 1970s, correct? No, 80s. Yes, 80s.
Episode 5 takes place in the 80s.
Yes. What episode? Yeah. What happened in the episode? I forgot.
Because they're dog dogs.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I mean, spoiler alert.
We already did that. If they're this far into this episode, we've already said it at least 4 times.
So
Spoiler alert.
WandaVision's kids
That's right.
get a dog, and then the dog dies.
That's all that happened. All right, so
halfway in the
episode
episode.
6 now. So instead of describing the episode, I think the way I've outlined these questions are all in order. I think we'd be able to get through these episodes, or through the episode, and people will kind of have a general idea. But if they're listening to this, they probably have been watching it, all with the exception of maybe Matt, because I don't know if he watches this stuff. I know he listens to the show though.
Hey Matt, do you listen? I mean, not do you listen? Do you watch WandaVision? Comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube,
or just send me a text message.
Yes,
and
comment
just like you did last
message.
time. Yes.
Hey, is your name Matt, but you're not the Matt we're talking about? Like and subscribe to this podcast. Yeah.
And comment down below whether or not you've seen WandaVision.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so my first
so much
question.
Engagement. Yeah.
Agnes broke character. How? Is she being manipulated by someone? Is she the only one with free will? She broke character. It was weird. She said, "Do you want me to do that again?" And just Wanda was like, "Huh?"
She was not the only one, though.
That's true, but we haven't gotten there yet, Brennan. Okay. I mean, Brandon. Not Brennan.
Also, this is this is unrelated, but I'm just remembering it now. This is the first time in the podcast when I've had this painting hung up behind me.
That's a nice painting.
I think, right? This is one of my favorite paintings. I actually call this Star Wars Episode 2. That's not the name of it. Call it that. Because does this not look like the cave scene where, here's the Republic gunship, and it drops off Anakin and Obi-Wan on the platform, and here's the cave entrance there where they go in and fight Count Dooku. Does it not look like that?
It does kind of look like that.
It does, and I love it so much. I've held this painting for so long because I just love that. It's like in the abstract art. I guess this is abstract art. This is what I see in it. This shows you my mental state. It's Star Wars Episode 2. It is, yeah. It's
back to WandaVision.
Anything else? Back to WandaVision. I don't think Agnes has. I think that's just kind of what all the characters, and not characters. They're all kind of aware, they're being controlled by Wanda, but they are being controlled in their own way, where they're kind of aware. Or whatever. I think that's what kind of goes on. I don't know if Wanda's kind of losing her grip, because there's a whole thing where she's not caring as much. She's using her powers in public.
That's true.
And she's doing all this stuff. So I think she's just not catching things as well. Or maybe just everybody's asking her about this, but she usually says yes, and then she resets things and no one remembers.
Mm-hmm.
But she isn't wanting to do that as much now, which is why she didn't reset it then, which is why Vision was aware of it.
Oh, also these the kids, their kids, Wanda and Vision's kids are now older, and they actually have also aged themselves up. Whether that was them doing it on their own, which they don't really have powers in this episode, so it's a little bit iffy. Or it's Wanda doing it subconsciously. Maybe I don't know. It doesn't seem like it in this episode anyway.
The internal logic I'm kind of using right now, or seeing in this episode, is it seemed to me almost skipping to the very end of the episode, as we previously talked about. I'm so sorry.
It's gonna be like when we recapped episode 3. All over the place.
Wanda's brother Pietro returns, but it's not him. Yeah.
Not Pedro. Yeah. Pietro.
Yeah. Pietro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. He returns, and Wanda didn't do this intentionally. So there are two possibilities. The first one is that her powers are kind of uncontrolled now.
Mm-hmm.
And she just wanted to see her brother again.
And the kids grow up.
The anomaly or whatever created this.
Okay.
The other option is
someone else is controlling it.
Her kids heard her mention her brother, and they brought him into being here.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And they obviously wouldn't know what he looked like. So it's a possibility. Mm-hmm. That's a theory that I like. I don't think it'll actually hold up over time. Mm-hmm. But it would be cool if, like, the kids being born this anomaly have some weird powers connected to the anomaly.
True.
Or the hex, I guess, as it's called.
So this is just something I saw. This is just an observation that other people had. There's a huge emphasis in this episode on color of clothing. So truly, as someone who's an engineer who's not trained to see this kind of stuff, obviously I would have not picked this up. I hate hidden meanings and stuff like that. But Agnes, well, you're a psychology. You were a psychology major, so you see what the differences are. I take everything very literally.
Yeah.
So Agnes wore a lot of blues and purples, which is like her comic counterpart, Agatha Harkness. The children wore colors.
If that's her counter book.
That's true, which actually has kind of
her counter book comic part is what I just said.
Yes, her counter book comic part. Yeah. And then the children, Billy and Tommy, are wearing colors similar to their counterparts, Wiccan and Speed. I mean, their aliases in the comic books, Wiccan and Speed, green and
did
black.
Not know they were based on actual characters in the comic books. That's cool.
Yes, that's why one of them was dressed up that way in the Halloween episode. That was his comic books costume, I guess.
Hey.
I think that's Wiccan. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, so there's that. I would have never picked up on that in a million years, but someone else did, and I'm glad that they did. We found out in this episode, Wanda is in fact using Vision's corpse.
Which, that is very strange.
Yes. So maybe when he was walking, when they flashed his corpse, maybe that was her seeing what she was actually using.
Yeah, that would be terrifying. I mean, I think because obviously the hex has to end at some point. Mm-hmm. And so Vision's probably going to die at the end of the series.
Probably. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Her having to come to grips with, like, having interacted with a corpse for the past however long it's been like, I think 9 days was like what she said.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's just going to, if she wasn't already mentally destroyed, that'll probably mentally destroy her, because that's just a whole range of like ethical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This woman's mental health is just, and you would know as a psychologist. Like, there's a psychology major. Like, this woman's mental health is just gone.
I am very trained in the mental healths of people who reanimate their.
You were Frankenstein. You were Frankenstein psychologist.
Yeah.
So next
and Frankenstein. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even say Frankenstein. I didn't say Frankenstein. I didn't call Frankenstein the monster, because it's not the monster. It's the doctor.
Although technically, I think in the book, the monster actually took the last name of Frankenstein.
Well, yeah,
as well.
I mean, I took the name of the people who reanimated me.
Yes.
I mean, that's the same thing, right? Adoption and reanimation.
Yeah, and like, the same. It's confirmed. He's no longer Vision. He's Vision, like Maximoff.
He's Visionstein. Yes. Vision, Maximoff's monster.
Yes, perfect. Maximoff's monster. Which also, if that's true, and please forgive me for skipping ahead momentarily again, but like, so when she like looked over at Quicksilver that one time in episode 6, and like he's dead. Great visual, by the way. I love that. Is that
okay? We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, because I have that same question too. Don't worry, we'll get there.
Okay.
Anyway, back to episode 5.
Yes.
Monica, they scanned her after coming out of the.
Yes.
I keep wanting to call it
hex.
The bubble, but it's called a hex.
The hex. Yeah. Because it's a hexagon.
Yes.
I still hate that.
Whatever.
But hopefully one day they'll get
it will be answered.
Yes.
But so I keep wanting to call it the bubble, because during the Hamdemic, everyone's in a bubble. They don't want to see Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Drinking his alien juice straight from the alien cow. Anyway, So Monica's scan came back, and they chalked it up to a broken machine, but you could see the outline of her neck and shoulders. It appears to be white, as if she is full of energy, like her comic book self, Photon, who can manipulate energy, any kind of energy on the electromagnetic spectrum.
I keep forgetting that everybody has comic book counterparts here.
This is based on a comic book, Brennan. Yes. Loosely, but it is. So yeah, she's possibly gained her powers through going in and out of Wanda's hex.
It is going to be so strange watching the MCU. No, not even Doctor Strange, but seeing like MCU movies or shows like 10 years from now, and like having all this stuff that like they're hinting at now actually take a big hold. Like, I mean,
oh my god,
they're setting up so much here. I hope they are.
Dude, the MCU in 10 years is going to be so damn convoluted. I mean, it already is, but dear God, it's going to be even worse.
It's either going to be that everyone watches it or no one watches it. There's going to be no in between. There can't be. It's they're going to
lose. They're going to lose the casual fans.
Yeah,
fast.
It's either going to become so mainstream or like not mainstream at all. It's going to go fade back into obscurity.
People are going to watch the movies. That's what they do, and then they're going to get to the movies and be like, what is going on? Who is this character?
It's Photon.
And then oh yeah, they established her in this show. There's shows? Anyway, so then something I didn't think people caught on to at first, but they eventually did catch on to, and then they mentioned them again in episode 6. Monica Rambeau mentioned an aerospace engineer. There are a lot of famous engineers in Marvel. So there's Wolverine, there's Iron Man. Iron Man obviously is not going to be it.
Wolverine?
Well, yeah, apparently Wolverine was an engineer at some point. There's Beast, aka Hank McCoy, who we've seen in the X-Men universe. There's Spider-Man, who not famously an aerospace engineer, so I doubt it'll be him. Also, he's in high school. I was
about to say, yeah.
There's Doctor Doom. There's Mr. Fantastic / Reed Richards. There's Riri Williams. But apparently, I didn't add this to the list, but there's also Blue Marvel, aka Donald Brashear is a hockey player. Adam Brashear. Maybe he's a hockey player too. I don't know. Blue Marvel, who is also an engineer, who was technically Marvel's first superhero, like in a timeline. Not first like to come out, but like first and like anyway. So a lot of people are saying it's either going to be Doom or Reed Richards. I hope it's Blue Marvel because in the comics, Monica Rambeau, and it is Brashear. His last name is Brashear. I know that.
Okay.
They're a relationship, like a friendship, and then it turns into like a relationship. That's who I hope it is. Obviously, it's probably going to be Reed Richards or Doctor Doom. I just threw a lot at you. So now it's your time to talk.
Yeah, I kind of hope it's Reed Richards. That would be kind of cool. I just said this, but I keep forgetting that everyone has a comic book counterpart. So when they were like aerospace engineer, I was like, okay, it's going to be an aerospace engineer. My brain never went to another superhero.
No, never does.
But that would be very, very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then Doctor Doom, apparently a lot of people are saying that in the comics, because comic book counterparts or comic parts.
Yeah.
He has a bit of relation, like a little bit of relationship, and that they might with the Maximoffs, and they might bring that into the MCU, which where like he's from Sokovia or something. He was there when Sokovia fell out of the sky or whatever.
I doubt that
maybe, but I feel like Reed Richards may be the one to come in. I think that'd be cool, especially if it's played by John Krasinski, because then that would be our big, people were calling it the Luke Skywalker moment of WandaVision.
Okay, I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified that the big Luke Skywalker moment was just her brother.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
Terrified that's what they meant. We were talking about it.
I don't think it is, because they keep mentioning this engineer.
Okay. We will have to see. We'll have to find out. I guess I'm more excited to see what that ends up being now, because I just thought it was going to be like some guy.
You did say you weren't really thinking about that, but
yeah, no, I was like, it's gonna be some person, aerospace engineer, maybe someone we've met, like how Darcy was tossed back. That was super. Yeah, that was super neat. There. But I never thought it was gonna be like a superhero.
Yeah.
The other thing I was
I see.
Gonna ask, does the FBI agent dude, whatever his name is, have
Jimmy Woo?
Yeah, does he have a comic book counterpart as well?
I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. I love him though. He's great.
He's fantastic. If he ends up being like a superhero, I would love that.
He's Shang-Chi. No, I'm kidding. That was right. He is not Shang-Chi.
That'd be so funny if
it would be funny. Comes out. Anyway, so
and just Marvel's like, nope, this is the only Asian guy. It's just
there is one.
Yeah.
Okay, man. They eventually did witness. They mentioned something that had happened with Wanda and how she almost destroyed Thanos. How do they know?
See,
how do they know what happened during Endgame?
I just kind of assume. I mean, like, there were a lot of people that were brought there for the battle.
Do you think they went to the press and were like, yeah, so this is what happens?
Absolutely, I do.
Wanda Maximoff just destroyed Thanos. It was so cool.
I mean,
but how do they know? Were people there?
Drones.
Was the paparazzi just like over in the corner?
Satellites. Yeah.
Okay, satellite. Just Google Earth. Just the satellites is going over at the same time as the fight's like. Is that a fight? Let me zoom in on this. Can I? Oh, there's a play button. Oh.
No, see, yeah.
Oh, damn.
It's as easy as this. Actually, what's happened is, how Wanda was like making everything into a TV show.
Oh.
Well, in the same way, the universe actually made all of the events prior into movies, and like 2 to 3 hour movies for everybody to watch. Gotcha. So everyone could get caught up, gotcha. Internally. So everyone just had just seen Endgame, so they all knew.
They knew what happened.
What happened?
Yeah, I didn't get that, Pat. They're just like, oh, we know what happened during Endgame. We're just like, how?
Yes.
What? And no one else is questioning it.
No.
I have not seen anyone else be like, oh, wow, they know what happened in Endgame.
I did see someone else post about that.
Did you?
I think. Yeah. And then, but like, I was like, I never even thought of that. Like, it never even occurred to me when they mentioned it to be like, wait a minute. They weren't there. But like, I don't know. I'm just assuming that it got out somehow. Maybe
it was
Peter Parker
is where I was gonna go.
Yeah.
It was Tom Holland's fault.
Just as much as the actor who plays him. Yeah.
That's what it was. He went to the paparazzi immediately after it happened. It's like, all right, guys, I got a story for you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know.
I was confused by that.
I honestly don't know. It like there are a lot of tiny inconsistencies that like kind of mess with me, so make it hard for me to enjoy
sure.
the
like
thing
the whole plane
but
thing. Like the whole thing when we were trying to explain how people got snapped back last episode.
Yes.
It's kind of the same thing. It's like, let's just kind of we'll accept that it happened and move on.
And it's like that thing right there, like them knowing how things happen. I mean, that doesn't necessarily spoil things as much for me. Not spoil, but it isn't like ruin things as much for me. That I'm just able to kind of let slide without much of a problem.
Gotcha. So this episode, we also for the first time saw Vision use powers associated with the Mind Stone when he took Norm out of the dream, out of the mind control. He was just like, and he is yelling. He said, "Get her out of my head. It hurts." And then Vision's like, "Stop yelling." And then he just goes back to normal. It's like, well, all right then. Let's see. Residents know Wanda's in control and are essentially trapped in her, and they're basically trapped in their mind. We found out from Norm. Wanda, when she okay, so we'll get to him in a second. The director of S.W.O.R.D. But Wanda, No one does. She was so the director of Sword sent in a drone to like go see what was going on. Somehow it made it through
because it was built in the 80s, which is
that's right.
which is the time period that like the show is taking place
That's
in.
right. And so anyway, so they sent it in, and it did communicate with Wanda real quick, and then Wanda's like nothing, and then so the director's like, "Hey, guess what?
There's a missile.
Shoot her." And so then Wanda takes the drone, basically destroys it, and drags it out of the hex, and it's just like, could you not, please? Thanks. Not bothering anyone. And then the guy's like, well, except the thousands of people you have under mind control. And she's like, that doesn't matter. Get out, stay out of my hex. She turns all the gunmen onto the director's shield sword and then walks back in. That was complete and total badassery on Wanda's part.
Yep. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It was hard-hitting analysis from Brennan. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Now it was nice when she like left the hex. She like got her accent back.
That was odd.
Yeah, it was just kind of an interesting touch. I don't know what it is about the hex that takes away the accent, unless it's just like, in that era of television, everything was a lot more like whitewashed.
Well, they say that earlier. They say that later in episode 6 too. Talk about the accents.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's just like, due to like, like the time of like programming, it's like representing or whatever. But it's good to know that Marvel did not forget that she had an accent.
Again. Again. Yes. So my next question was how does Wanda's kids know she can bring things back from the dead? How did she do they know that what Vision's dead? Because remember they mentioned about Sparky bringing him back from the dead.
Yes, I am.
Which actually you asked this question earlier.
Yeah, and like that gave me the impression that the kids do have they have an understanding of the hex.
Right.
Yeah, like they have some kind of knowledge, they have some kind of insight here into Wanda's relationship with the hex and her control and her powers.
And the fact that Sparky dies, I think kind of gives her the not the intuition, but gives her an idea that she's not completely in control anymore.
Yeah. It was such a weird.
And did Agnes kill the dog?
I don't think
that's my next question.
I don't think Agnes killed the dog, but it was it was such a weird thing where she was like, oh, we can't just go around bringing dead things back to life. We have to move on, and it's like you literally
That's different though, because he's a robot. He's not a real person. He's a synthezoid.
But still.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right.
Yeah. He is a living thing who had his own beliefs and preferences and wants and desires and all this stuff, and she kind of just ignored all of that, and she's brought him back to life and is controlling him. She took all of his memories, or his memories just didn't last because he died. But
because he doesn't remember what happened before they got to Westview.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's Wanda or what, but it probably is Wanda, because if he could remember, he wouldn't want to
be there. Yeah.
Be like that. Yeah.
So Wanda's pocket dimension, or she's in a pocket dimension, her hex is a pocket dimension. What did I say? I said, but where? She controls most everything, but not everything. That's clear when Pietro shows up, and she also says, I don't know how all of this even started.
Yes. That was in episode 6.
Well, she said it. She also said it in 5. She said it to Vision in 5, and then she said it to Pietro in 6.
Yes.
So she's clearly not the only one doing it. It's either that or her memory was. She doesn't remember anything either.
Yeah.
When she was in her rage, she got Vision. She just forgot.
It gave me the impression that her powers kind of took her over.
Yeah, or something else, which is what a lot of people think. I don't think that yet. We've not given that. They have not given us that yet.
I'm pretty sure it's just her powers.
Mm-hmm. And then is the pocket universe or dimension in the X-Men universe, Fox's X-Men universe, which is why Pietro showed up. That Pietro showed up as opposed to the one we know.
I don't have enough information to go on with that.
Me neither. Yet. And then the last thing I said about that episode was something's off about the director of Sword. No one likes him, clearly.
Yeah.
He's a jackass. And we learned in episode 6 that he does not like people with powers.
Yeah. Which is understandable.
Which kind of leaks into the comic book. And we even saw this in the X-Men movies about how people don't like mutants.
Some people saw the X-Men movies. Some people.
Oh, you haven't seen them?
Movies. No, I have not actually.
Some of them are good. Some of them are great.
Yeah, they're definitely.
I would recommend them.
Yeah, I want to watch them at some point.
I think half of them are on Disney Plus, half of them are on HBO, or some of them are on HBO Max.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
I guess Disney hasn't gotten the rights back to all of them yet, but anyway. So episodes, unless you have anything else to say on episode 5.
No, episode 6. Halloween episode. I love the Halloween episode.
Before we get there,
forward to it. Before we get to the Halloween episode. Yeah.
I know you said you didn't like episode 4. Are you liking the way they're doing episode 5 and 6?
I'm okay with the knowledge that they're not gonna go back to like pure homages. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
I would much prefer it to be just a pure homage, where it's not like the cutting back and forth and whatever, and the explanations or whatever. But like, like episode 5, there were a lot of parts I really liked about episode 5. Some other parts like meh. Mm-hmm. I absolutely loved. Okay, this was something I have to say about episode 5, I guess, before we get to episode 6. But but when Vision came back and confronted like Wanda about everything.
Oh yeah.
And then he was like, "You can't control me."
Yeah, he's
and
heated.
She was like, "Can't I?" And then she like the credits started rolling up like it was ending. But then he was like talking to her and this whole back and forth. That's what I want. Like she really is in control. She's controlling what's being shown. She's whatever. She was trying to end the episode there. But yeah.
No, I almost thought they were about to throw down for a minute there, for a second there, because like he was mad and he got himself in the air, and then Wanda's mad. She starts showing her powers, and then they just kind of settle down and kind of.
Honestly, I'm kind of hoping WandaVision ends with them having a fight, like an actual battle, because it'd be super cool, because like Wanda would definitely be like the more powerful one, but she doesn't want to like
hurt Vision.
Yeah,
right.
Vision obviously. So it'd be a super interesting like dynamic here, and it's like, who do you root for?
Right.
So yeah, that'd be cool. So like that's something I love about episode 5. I wish they had more time to go into things like that. I kind of understand why they're not doing pure homages now, because I've like seen some comments about how people didn't like the first 2 episodes because they were like homages to like shows that like they, it's like
they didn't watch, right? It's too old for them.
A lot of people our age, you may have heard of the Dick Van Dyke Show, but you haven't spent like a lot of time watching it.
Right.
Just because of my like strange childhood, I just spent a lot of time watching older shows like that. So.
I think we both have older parents, so they watched it when they grew up. So like obviously they showed it to us. Like I've watched Believe It to Beaver, and I've watched MASH and stuff like that. So like I've seen a lot of the older shows. I think they watch Green Acres downstairs sometimes. So like I've seen a lot of that stuff.
So yeah, but it's like for like the mainstream for the most part, which I guess is the primary audience of the MCU now. It can be kind of like weird to watch something like that. So
yeah, those are definitely shows you have to. Those are definitely shows you have to like get yourself into before you can really enjoy it.
With like the 80s and 90s, because like it's like the 90s style. I think it's like I love the Halloween episode, a lot of like how it was narrated, and like it's like I don't really like shows from the 90s, so it would kind of not have been weird. Fun to see a whole episode in that style.
They kind of like combined the 90s and 2000s, because the show was Malcolm in the Middle. I think that show started in. Let me just double check when it started, because like that show I know, because if you looked in the background, at like the movie theater, it said Monsters Inc. and there's one.
No, it said
Parent Trap and
The Incredibles, and
which came out in 2003, I think.
Yeah. So it very much was a mashup of the 90s and 2000s, which I think makes sense, because I think the next episode will be in the style of Modern Family, based on what I've seen, which is
like out in 2000, Malcolm in the Middle. So that's like right there on the edge. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe Modern Family came out in 2008, but then it ran for like 12 seasons or whatever. So it was like all of 2010. So
yeah.
it'll make sense. They're staying consistent with this.
They'll catch up to the 2020s, and then it'll be like a kind of they'll incorporate both sides of it interacting more together. I think probably.
Yeah.
The last 2 episodes.
But yeah, it's like it's like I don't know if I would have liked as much to have seen a full homage to like the 90s or whatever. So I
also think
understand why they're moving away from it. So I mean, for what it's worth, it's like I don't really mind. It's like I'm not as engaged with them now as I was with the earlier ones, but they're still great.
Right, it's good quality. Yeah. I think Full House also ran into the 90s, so they kind of like took the 2000s and the 80s and kind of like.
Yeah, it's starting to get more shows of like a glob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of losing it a little bit. I mean, obviously, as we've seen. So episode 6,
Halloween episode. I've been looking forward to this ever since I saw the trailer.
You've mentioned it a couple times, yeah.
Yes, the trailer had Vision's original costume and Wanda's original costume.
I love how they explain them. Great. I love how they explain them as a Sokovian fortune teller and a Mexican wrestler, which I thought was weird, but I can see it though.
Yeah, it was a very like great way of doing it, like because she's not called Scarlet Witch yet or anything of that sort. She doesn't have any outfit besides like her red leather jacket
and her corset and her pants. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So it was great to see that. What I was not expecting is Quicksilver's Halloween costume. That was fantastic.
That was
I absolutely love that.
Book accurate, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a weird hair. But it's Evan Peters, I think his name is. Yeah, he pulled it off well.
Yeah.
I also liked how they kind of gave this episode from the point of view of the kids. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and it was very like 90s, early 2000s as well.
Yeah.
It's great to see the kids having more of a role instead of just being, like side characters or whatever. It's like they are becoming a central focus of the story.
Before we get too far into it, I think this was so far my favorite episode. Maybe because I've watched shows from the late 90s, early 2000s, and that like made up a majority of my childhood. But I really liked them. And I mean, the first 2 episodes were also probably up there. Believe it or not, I think episode 4 is probably my least favorite. Episode 5 was really good too, because I like 80s shows too. Because again, that's what my parents watched. So we watched them growing up too.
Hands down, my favorite episode is still the very first episode of WandaVision.
Okay, yeah.
It's like the first 2 episodes I liked a lot. This episode here, I also very much liked.
The 3rd episode was really, really good too, with Vision, Dead Vision. Oh no, that was episode 4. Never mind.
Yeah.
It was kind of it should have been episode 3, but it was in episode 4.
Yes, I'm very excited for next episode if it is Modern Family, because like I've watched all of Modern Family.
The one show I could not get into. I don't know why.
It was just
accidentally.
Yeah, I accidentally watched all of Modern Family.
It's like one of those Google search memes you see. Oops, I accidentally watched all of Modern Family. Oops, I accidentally built a shelf.
Yes. I love those minimum savings you're talking about. Those are fantastic.
Oops, I accidentally built a 2004 Jeep Wrangler.
But yeah, anyway. It was Modern Family was one of those shows that, like I got into super early onto its run when I was first starting to like get into more like older demographic sitcom style shows. It was like that and like The Big Bang Theory were like the first 2 shows that I kind of started to get into. Big Bang Theory I like really no longer like at like all.
They got girlfriends and stopped being relatable. That's what it was. It's really weird, but that's when it stopped being good.
No, it's I mean, honestly, yeah, because like for the longer it went on, it just kind of like stopped being as interesting. But like what even in some of the earlier episodes I went and watched them, like these jokes aren't really funny. I mean, it's like the laugh track that like they had, but like after seeing shows like Community and all that, it's really hard to take this comes seriously. It's like Modern Family. I don't know if because I just watched it for so long and I've like Stockholm syndrome or whatever now, but like maybe it's because like the writers changed so much, but like a lot of the episodes are like pretty good. Most are kind of just like bland, kind of meh. But like I came to know the characters extremely well because I went on for like 12 years and actually saw the cast age up a lot. So I'm excited to see what WandaVision does with that style.
Yeah, it was weird that the kids stayed the same age in the episode. Yeah, I don't think they aged at all from the previous episode. Because, I mean, remember they did the quick age up? I think they stayed the same age. Also.
Yeah.
And I just got this thinking. The kids who played the kids who were the actors in the show were born, like, after that Malcolm in the Middle ended.
Yeah. You're right.
That's, like, it took me a second. I was like, dang. That was a long time ago because that show started 21 years ago.
Yeah.
And it ended 15 years ago.
Interesting.
And those kids can't be more than 12, right? Not even.
No. Yeah.
So, anyway, I just thought that was funny to.
Yeah.
What else is there?
I absolutely love this episode. So in like the trailers, one of my least favorite parts of the trailer was the scene where Vision comes down to Agnes. They have the conversation, and she's like, "You're dead," and starts like laughing or whatever. I hated that part of the trailer. It just never felt right. I love that scene so much, though.
Now,
yeah,
now that you've seen it,
and like I still don't like the trailer because like the reason I don't is because they cut out so much of the context. Like in context, the whole conversation, it's so good, but they just cut out so much in the trailer. It just felt kind of weird, like forced. But it really works for the actual episode itself.
Yeah. So back in the real world, Hayward, who is the director's name, is doing some sketchy shit, and he not fires, but like basically kicks Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy out of the place, and then Jimmy Woo decides to become a badass and beats up the guards with Monica.
Super cool.
And Darcy, being herself, is just like, whoa, why didn't you tell me about this plan? Not that she would have really done anything, because she's Darcy. I love her though. I love Kat Denning.
Yes.
But so they beat them up, and then basically they sneak back into like one of the tents, and they like pull up a thing, and they realize that people on the edge of town are not moving.
It was
which Vision goes off to.
Funny scene to me too, because like it just had the whole vibe of like those shows where like people who don't know technology try to like write technology or whatever, because it was like we're like in this room to like hack into whatever, and I was like, this seems so unrealistic. Like I get a lot of Marvel has that same kind of vibe, but it was so funny watching it, and the whole feel like, I'm gonna like cut the hard line to the mainframe, stuff like that, where it's just like jargon that like doesn't actually mean anything.
Well, and it's funny because you know this because you've taken a bunch of engineering classes, and you originally that's what you wanted to do, and I've graduated with my engineering degree. I hate when Hollywood tries to write technology. It bothers me so much.
It's so frustrating.
It's so cringy.
You can call in somebody who knows this so easily.
Which they've done before. Like there are movies. I think, what was it? Gravity came in and they called an astrophysicist and was like, "Hey, let's help us get this right." And they could do that. They just don't. And it's terrible.
It's like, why? It's like because it's just like the dialogue sounds great to somebody who doesn't know anything about technology.
Which is most people. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but like. But like for someone actually does know it, it just like ends like the realism instantly. You're just instantly like wait a minute, they're doing what?
It's like these words don't make sense.
Yeah.
I just especially mechanical components, because I mean that's what I graduate with. I have a mechanical engineering degree, and it's like when they try to explain things, especially in Star Wars. Dear God, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I get this is a galaxy far, far away,
but like
a long, long time ago. But Jesus, making something make sense.
Some principles are universal here.
Exactly. It's just like, come on, do better, Hollywood. Anyway,
but then you have the whole thing with Vision, where he's walking around or whatever. He's seeing people with like either like repetitive actions here,
with tears coming out of her eyes,
or people who are like frozen and not moving.
Mm-hmm. Because he saw that he went down that one cul-de-sac and there's a woman standing there and these kids are running up. It's like, ma'am, are those your kids? And they're just like frozen, and that proves how much control Wanda has. Like she can take everyone over. But that's it. Only the people in her vicinity are really doing anything.
Yeah.
Also, where did the kids come from? They mentioned that in episode 5.
Which I absolutely love, because there was like, I think episode
5, I think. Where all the kids.
5? Oh yeah, it was 5.
That's how they got in that fight.
That was recent, where he was like, where are the kids? And now all of a sudden they're like, are kids there? And it's actually
which is probably why he's walking around. Yeah.
It's like her brother who mentions like the same thing. And I absolutely love his role. He did great in like this whole episode here.
He's great.
I love how like he referenced the fact that he was on a TV show where he was like, oh yeah, it's like step brother comes to town, stirs up trouble with the brother-in-law, whatever. I was like,
the kids,
he's mentioning all of the story beats that like usually occur.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is like, my favorite line that like he had was like, he was like, oh, like he was like, don't sweat it, want it. It's like your dead husband can't die twice. And she immediately like blasted. It was such a good line. I love that line so much. It was so funny. It was so funny.
I have a point here that I'll mention later on, but he referenced a movie because when the kid, I don't know which one's which, if I'm being completely honest with you.
I have no idea.
But the one who was dressed like him, when he came up to him, he said, he's like, got the need for speed, kick ass. They were mentioning a movie that both versions of Quicksilver were in, which is the movie Kick Ass. Both the guy who played the MCU Quicksilver and him were in the same movie together.
That's really funny.
So they mentioned, a lot of people like that. I really like that. I've never seen the movie, but I love when they reference. I love obscure references like that.
Absolutely.
Like, I see what you did there. I saw someone else mention that, but I just thought that was cool. Pietro remembers getting shot, which was weird.
Yeah.
And he's like, what happened? He's like, I was just, in a street getting all shot up, and then I heard you call my name and I came here.
Yeah, which kind of like a lot of people who was like, oh, this actually is the X-Men character or whatever, that kind of ruins that now.
Yeah.
Unless it is that character who just has these other
memories.
Yeah.
Well, when that calls into question is Wanda able to communicate with the dead? And is that how Vision's alive? Is anyone in the town dead? Or some of them? Or all of them? Stuff like that. It's kind of
interesting because it's like she has, like her powers come from the Mind Stone.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if they came from like the Soul Stone, I would say,
Oh, that's true.
That makes sense. But like, I don't know. So like, I'm interested to see the direction that they take it. I hope they explain it well, and they don't explain it in like the same way that they explain like the hacking into whoever's laptop thing. So that'll be annoying.
Or if, honestly, as everyone's thinking that he's Mephisto. If they explain that, I'm like, that's for them. It's not easy. It's not. That wasn't like something that I don't think everyone was picked up on. But like for me, it's like, okay.
Yeah, but anyway,
that's just because I know, because so many people keep talking about it.
Yeah.
I hope he's just Quicksilver, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I really hope that this character sticks around.
Mm-hmm.
He's cool. Even after the Hex ends, because that would be neat.
And that's what I was referenced earlier. Wanda said in episode 5 she can't control everything. So why everyone at the edge of town isn't moving. Which we talked about already. As the show goes on, the less I think Agnes. As the show goes on, the less I think Agnes is Agatha Harkness. That everyone keeps saying she is.
I don't see any reason to believe she is right now, except for So her comic book counterpart is like a witch, and the Halloween costume that Agnes was in was that of a witch.
And we don't know anything about her.
Yeah,
and like even Sword didn't have anything about her.
Yeah,
but I don't know, because maybe unless she was faking everything to Vision,
or unless she like gets her powers from the hex.
Maybe that's also could be another thing.
Yeah, she could like try to leave with Vision or whatever at some point, and then.
Let's see. Monica's gained powers, and she's gone in and out of the pocket dimension, or the hex, well, they were hinted at that when they were in doing the hacking, the clicky clacking. They said, look. Darcy said, look, your genes are being changed, or you are being changed in an anatomic level. And Monica's kind of like, meh. Okay, cool. I don't care. What else is there? Pietro knows what's going on. Oh, Pietro kind of hints at knowing what's going on. I think you mentioned this earlier. But he's kind of like, he knows what's going on. He's like, this is real impressive.
Yeah, which was super cool.
Who is he? Yeah.
Yeah, I very much like that, that like the morality here isn't like isn't like objective here of like, oh, we should perceive what one is doing as bad, that there is some balance to all of these views here, so it like makes the conflict feel more substantial than like if it was just like, everyone like against Wanda here, like Wanda has a reason to to feel like what she's doing makes sense and like is valid and like is good.
I think the only people who think she's bad is obviously the director Hayward, and maybe Vision. And I don't think Vision's too happy with Wanda. I think he's starting to realize everything, and
Vision is absolutely against this.
The Vision we know would not like this. He would be because he's got a very strong moral code.
Yes,
which is kind of opposite of Ultron, who created him. He's got a really strong moral code, and he would not like any of this. And I think he's starting to realize all that. I mean, we saw that at the end of episode 5, where he's just like, "You can't do this, Wanda."
And in episode 6, he's fighting so hard to escape,
to leave, and he did, and he started dying,
crawling on the ground. Yeah, but he didn't start dying the way that I thought he would. I thought that if he left, he would kind of start to like become his corpse again. He was like just getting like chunks of him just flying back.
Well, I think that was maybe the Hex trying to bring him back in as opposed to ripping him apart.
Yeah. But it was an interesting thing where it's like it literally looks like he can't leave. We have Darcy in the Hex now.
Yes. Yeah, she expanded the Hex to save Vision because her son, I think it was Tommy. I think Tommy is Wiccan. I'm not entirely sure, but one of her sons is like both her sons get their powers at the end of this episode.
Yep.
And we see that. And so the one son is like, Dad's in trouble. We need to help him. And she's like, okay, well, what does he see? And for some, he can see through Vision's eyes, I think, or at least see what's happening to Vision.
Yeah.
And like he says, he's like, there's guns, there's people, there's a brightness. And then she's like, oh shit, he's outside. And then that's when Pietro says, well, it's like he can die again. And then she goes, and then starts to expand the Hex.
Such a fantastic scene. I love that scene. I love getting to see the Hex expand and like, it's like the army tents sort of returning like circus tents.
Which I thought was hilarious. And like, she thinks they're clowns completely.
Yeah, one of my favorite things was like when the helicopter was taking off and it got turned into like a hot air balloon. There's
just so many cool little things there with all that. And then, like you said, Darcy's in the Hex now. But we kind of had another sequence there before that happened when she was talking to Pietro and his corpse shows up again. And so, does she have Pietro's corpse? Because we know she has Vision's corpse.
I mentioned that. I'm like, it's so cool to think about in like a horrible way.
Because that one made me jump too. Like.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
I saw it like twice and like I jumped both times. I just forgot about it like the second time,
I've watched this episode twice already. I watch them all twice, like the moment they come out. I put it on and then I'm like, all right, again, let's see what I can find this time. Yeah.
Unlike Fridays, like prior to the start of like my work day, I'll wake up like an hour earlier just to watch like WandaVision before I start to get ready for work, and it's been
so nice because like
worth it every week.
You
so
get
far.
to work at home. That's so nice. You can do that because otherwise you're waking up 2 hours early just to go to work. Anyway, Wanda's obviously keeping Vision alive inside the hex.
Oh,
he very much died.
That was the other thing.
Oh, how? How is he doing? How is she doing? That's what it said.
Okay, and like that was the other thing I was going to say as well, because prior to her brother returning, she mentioned, she was like talking about like how she missed him. She was talking about him. She was like, that was an element of the story of the dialogue.
Yeah.
Something that happened in this last episode here was she was talking to him about their parents.
Yes.
And the dialogue and it's like the camera of the scene seemed to linger on that moment for a little bit longer than whatever would happen. After she was talking about him, he appeared. My question is, are their parents going to appear now?
Interesting.
Which, because the next episode is Modern Family. So an expansion of the family.
Interesting.
Might make sense. That was something that I noticed. I haven't seen anyone else speculating about it. I mean, maybe I haven't dug deep enough.
Some people have, but that's but that's just because at one point in the comics, we had found out that Magneto was their father.
Oh.
Later on it turns out that's not true. She was born to someone else. But I think she's not a mutant, but Pietro is. It's really weird. Anyway.
Interesting.
Like she's still trained in the magic arts and stuff like the not dark magic, something like that. But so yeah, if that does happen, maybe they bring in Magneto. That could also be the big reveal. Yeah, coming.
Okay. But yeah, that's just something I noticed, and it's like, I don't know if it's like the Hex doing all of this, if it's like her kids are like hearing this and they're like, bringing this about just unintentionally. I don't know what kind of powers they have, but
the one has Wanda's powers, Wiccan. Wiccan. Yeah, is the one who told her about Vision being in trouble.
Maybe that's what happens. It'll be interesting to see who plays their parents, if their parents end up being an element of.
It's an interesting point. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone say anything about that.
Yeah, because it just felt like the dialogue. It's just like there's just a pause after they mention their parents, like an unnatural pause, and I was like, are they trying to indicate something here?
Right.
And
then one thing I got two more things about this episode. One, they mentioned the word nightmare a lot, and Nightmare is supposed to be the villain of Doctor Strange 3. Maybe I'm just taking too much emphasis on that word nightmare. That's highly likely, just like everyone else is putting way too much effort into this show. But that was just something I noticed, that they said nightmare quite a few times. And he is supposed to be the villain in Doctor Strange 2. And these two shows are supposed to be connected, so that's something maybe.
Maybe that's the Luke Skywalker moment where we get like a cameo of
Nightmare.
Yeah, Nightmare, like the very end.
And then what the hell was the commercial?
Yeah, that one was like,
that was weird.
Like it definitely had a very 90s, early 2000s feel.
Oh yeah.
But not the same way as like all of the other ones.
No, this is
the other ones could have been commercials. That one could not have been a commercial.
Well,
because then it dies.
Yeah. Well, and like the other ones all have like something significant to do with their past. This one was just
yo magic, and she uses magic, but besides that.
So my thought was that, or at least this is what my thought. Other people had different things, but I'm just gonna go by what I thought. The thing keeping Vision alive, Vision is the kid, right? And the thing keeping Vision alive is her magic. And that kid could not get that open. And the moment Vision steps out of the hex, he dies. He starts to die. So maybe that has to do with something. Maybe they were foreshadowing Vision reliance on Wanda's magic. I have no idea, honestly. It was weird.
Yeah, even that, because it's like, so someone's trying to get into the magic for so long that like they die, and no one's really trying to get into magic here in like a bad way. Like Wanda's using magic, but yeah, that was kind of a weird one. That one just kind of felt a little out of place.
I can't wait until like after the show's over and then Marvel comes out. All right, so here's what all this meant.
Yeah.
Because this is one I really don't know. I really don't understand this commercial, like at all. Like I like the animation style. That was kind of cool.
I'm interested to see the commercial next episode because it'll be like a modern day commercial. It'll just be like the commercials we have now.
It'll be a Geico commercial.
Yeah. But yeah, that's weird. So yeah, the hex expands. The only people you have outside of the hex left are the FBI agent.
Jimmy Woo.
You have
Monica Rambeau.
Jimmy Woo, Monica Rambeau, Hayward. I was supposed to.
And then like a couple other agents, but like we don't know.
Yeah, like 2 other ones.
Yeah, so
that's it.
And
it's definitely
Monica
went to go threat now.
Monica went to go meet her engineer friend as well.
Yeah.
So we'll finally get to see who that is
next episode.
Maybe.
Probably.
Unless this next episode is just like, hey, guess what? Back to the homages.
Please go back to the homages. Please. They won't. They absolutely won't. But
it's fun to think about, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's very fun to think about.
Very excited for these next 3 episodes. Very excited.
Especially if they're an hour long. I have to wake up earlier now. Great. I just realized that.
This is the first time I didn't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning for it. I woke up, I think it was like 6. I was like, I guess it's time to watch WandaVision. But
it was like super great to like finally get the Halloween episode. I've been waiting for that for a while. It definitely did live up to the expectation I had. Unfortunately, it was not a true homage, but still cool.
Yeah.
I think when like all the shows were first announced and all of that, this series was supposed to premiere in August, like September or whatever, which means this episode would have come out like right before Halloween, like a month before Halloween or whatever. And like if it had, I'm absolutely certain that so many people would be like dressing up for Halloween as either Scarlet Witch or Vision or Quicksilver.
They would have. They're still gonna do that next year though. They're gonna have those costumes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm just curious to see if like for this Halloween, like 8 months from now or whatever, if people are still like into WandaVision as much to like go as like Scarlet Witch and Vision or whatever, because just I'm imagining just seeing tons of people all in like the Vision costumes, like the green bodysuit and like the like yellow exercise shorts or whatever. It would be so funny. I'm really hoping that like 80s style costume, 80s 90s style costume comes back, because that would be so funny to see all of like the classic Marvel superheroes.
We're definitely going to see a lot of new Marvel costumes this year, which is cool.
Absolutely.
A lot of more diversity, because like a lot more kids will be like, hey, I see an Asian man on the television screen. I am Asian, so I will dress up like him. I will dress up like Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Well, that's cool. Everyone.
I would hope that Shang-Chi gets some kind of cool
Mrs. Marvel. They're going to get that
costume or something like that.
Okay, so Spider-Man comes out December 17th. This is the new one, apparently.
Cool.
Supposedly.
Cool. Supposedly.
And then Doctor Strange comes out March 25th of next year. Oh, I have something cool to do on my birthday. Hell yeah.
Oh, wait. It like comes out like on your birthday or like around your birthday?
On March 25th, 2022. Because this year it's a Thursday.
That is cool.
Because I remember last year was a Wednesday because it was in the middle of the week and the pandemic had just started. Or I'm sorry, the handemic had just started.
Oh man, happy birthday!
I know, right? Yeah. At least my favorite restaurant was open. We could have gotten takeout. We got to take out, so eat locally. Eat locally, people.
Yes.
But anyway, so yeah, we'll see. I mean, there'll be a lot of new costumes out on that.
Mm-hmm.
on the ropes on the trail this year.
Yeah,
Maybe even some Bad Batch costumes.
Oh yeah,
which we're supposed to get at some point too.
Cool. Yeah.
But
yeah,
I think
it'll be very nice this Halloween. Hopefully, come Halloween, Mark Hamill has gone back into hiding, and the hamdemic ends.
Oh God,
so,
please!
We can actually have a Halloween in
Bash.
10 months. Yeah, because forget all these other holidays. Halloween is where it's at, and not really getting to have a Halloween.
Arbor Day.
This this past year was sad, but ultimately worth it.
Mark Hamill has just been so thirsty for that milk.
Yep.
For that space cow milk.
Yeah.
Blue milk. Yep. Anyway. So
everywhere. I was just out walking along my neighborhood, and I saw him just there with the cow and everything. I just had to turn back around and walk back home.
Yeah. So I think that's it for this episode. This is a long episode.
Yes. Yeah, it was just an hour 45.
Yeah, I don't know if it might be up there with one of our longest. I think
maybe,
but we'll see.
Yes,
we can make it if we go on for another 18 minutes. We'll hit the 2-hour mark. But I'm good.
No, see, it's just we just release this now. And then 3 years from now, we come back with the Snyder cut of this podcast. And then it's 4 hours long, and then we have our longest.
There we go. That's how we do it over here.
Yep.
We should do something like that. Just have a 4-hour long podcast releases the Snyder's cut.
It's just we go over all of this news again, but then in different ways, not using any of the same words. But it's the exact same story.
The exact same, yeah. This episodes 5 and 6 of WandaVision, which at that point will be, 6 phases in the new Marvel.
Yeah.
Not really. We'll be in the next phase though. But this will be so irrelevant to the story that's going on. But we're gonna come back. We'll do the Zack Snyder cut of the Ship Roasting podcast.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you guys like this, I don't know why you would, but
I don't know. Why are you listening still? Why? Honestly.
At least we weren't that messy this time with the review.
No. But anyway, back to WandaVision episode 3.
So if you guys like this, don't forget to subscribe anywhere you are. Give us a like. As well.
Hit that like button. Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Smash it.
Don't forget to leave a comment if you're on YouTube. Review us, please. I don't think there are any reviews for us yet.
Yeah.
There is Spotify. One. I think there's a couple 5-star ratings on the Apple, I think. I don't know.
Yeah?
I'm guessing. Let's look.
Wow. I would like to
There is 2 ratings.
2 ratings?
Only one of them is me.
Of what? Oh.
2 5-star ratings for this podcast.
2 5-star ratings.
So thank you to whoever gave us a rating.
Yeah.
And thank you for the 33 of you who listened to our podcast on the first day last week. And
whoever
the 0 of you who didn't listen the other 4 days after that.
Yeah. Whoever's the person besides Wally who gave us the 5-star review, thank you for lying. We appreciate it very much.
But yeah, write us a review. I think that'd be great. I think, and then tell your friends about this podcast.
Yes.
And if they're like, why would you want to listen to 2 losers talk about Marvel and Star Wars all the time? And you're like, because it's cool. And they'll be like, yeah, okay, loser. No, but I'm just here to tell you that you are not a loser.
Yeah.
But we probably might be. Or at least I am. I mean, look what I'm reading.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh yeah, he's an absolute loser. Sequel. I'm a pretty cool guy though.
I'm reading sequel books. I mean, come on, that's grade A loser. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Wolfgator Entertainment. Don't forget to subscribe to Brennan's channel, not Brennan.
Yes, not Brandon either.
Nope. Links will be in the description. I hope you guys have
something without a description. In which case,
that's your loss. I hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day, regardless of whether or not you are single or in a relationship.
Happy Valentine's Day. I'm in a relationship, but there's a pandemic, unfortunately. So
I am not. So, and there's a pandemic, so that's also another excuse I get to use.
Yeah, you get to use the pandemic as your primary excuse now.
But so yeah, I hope everyone had a good Valentine's Day. I hope you have a great rest of your week, or whatever.
Week. Yeah, you're going to be in a week unless you're listening to this at a point in time where they've abandoned the concept of a week, in which case, oops.
Wow, you guys really are ahead in the future. Why are you still listening to this? This is WandaVision came out a long time ago. Unless you found the first TV with internet
unless you did.
In thousands of years. So in which case, good for you. Why are you listening to this podcast? There's so many better ones out there.
This is the last podcast remaining. Somehow we've survived like the purge. We're just here. Yep.
All right.
This has been the longest outro we've ever done.
Is it though? Is it? I don't know. It's got to be up there.
Honestly, yeah.
Everyone, have a great rest of your night. Peace out.
Yeah, and join us for the next episode where we will rank every outro we've ever done in terms of length. Okay, everyone.
Peace out, everyone.
Peace. Bye.
Well, I gotta...